and I've just started my recording. So let me know if you have any questions. We're going to start off pretty easy. Okay, so our first thing is multi-digit addition. So if I have 53 plus 53, my first step is to do the ones. 3 plus 3 is 6. 5 plus 5 is 10. So my first step is this column, then I do this column. And that's all great, except for sometimes we have something like this. 8 plus 8 is 16, but I don't have room for that. So I put the one digit here, and then I put the second digit, that's the tens, up here. And now I do the second column. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So fourth grade is going to be exactly the same, except for instead of 2 digits by 2 digits, you might have something like this. 4 digits by 3 digits, or 3 digits by 3 digits. And so we just do the same thing, except for you're just going to keep going. So you're first going to do this one, then you're going to do this one, then you're going to do this one, and then you're going to do this one until you run out of ones to do. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. Okay, so same thing with subtraction. In third grade, you kind of had easier stuff like this. And you did this column, then you did this column, you did this column. But with subtraction, we have to ask, do you have enough cookies to give your neighbor? Do you remember that? So suppose we had something like this. You're going to say, if I have 3 cookies, can I give my friend 8? No. So I have to borrow some from my neighbor. This 5 becomes a 4, and this becomes a 13. 13 minus 8, 4 minus 8. Oh, I can't do that, so I have to borrow one more. So that becomes a 14, and that becomes a 3. Does that all make sense to you? And then you do your math. So same thing with fourth grade, but you might have something like that. That might be a fourth grade problem, but it's the same exact thing. You keep asking whether you have enough cookies and you keep borrowing where you need to. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, we also did place value. So this is the ones, this is the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. In fourth grade, you might have to go up to billions. So we're just going to go ahead and do them. So this is the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, the 10,000s, the 100,000s, the millions. That's the 1 millions. This is the 10 millions. This is the 100 millions. And this is the billions. Does that make sense to you? Okay. And every 3, we do a comma. So suppose this was our number. We're going to count in 3. 1, 2, 3, put a comma, 1, 2, 3, comma, and we keep doing that. So suppose the number was like that. We would do 1, 2, 3, comma, and we'd keep putting commas in there. So this number is 4,873,185,326. Big, big, big number. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Next thing we have to talk about are units. So sometimes you're going to see something that's like this. This stands for thousands. This stands for hundreds. This stands for tens. And then these little ones are ones. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if they give you something like this, you're just going to count it up. Pretend like this is actually 1,000. Obviously, I just did it really quickly, so it's not. So we're going to do 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 100 plus 10 plus 10 plus 3. And we're going to squish it all together. So this is 2,123. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, expanded form there's three ways to write numbers. One is called expanded form, one is called standard form, and one is called word form. So suppose I have this number right here, 5,326. If you're going to write that in expanded form, it means you're expanding it out. So you're going to take this is worth 5,000. Then you're going to take this digit, it's worth 300. Then you're going to take this digit, it's worth 20. Then you're going to take this digit, it's worth 6. That's the whole thing. Standard form is, suppose they gave you something that looked like this. 500 plus 30 plus 5. Now for standard form, you're going to squish it together like how we normally write numbers. We don't usually write numbers like this, right, Lila? We write it like this. Does that make sense? So you're taking this expanded and you're squishing it all together. So this would be 535. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then word form means that you actually write it out. 536. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, now the next thing we're going to do are fractions. So a fraction is a numerator and a denominator. So we have our numerator on top, and then we have our denominator on the bottom. And the numerator is the part that is shaded. So if you have two parts shaded, it's going to look like that. And I say our denominator is 3. That's the total number of pieces. So this is the shaded part, and this is the total part. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. When we're adding fractions, so suppose I had 3/5 plus 1/5. If the denominators are the same, we don't have to do anything except for step 1, add the numerators. So what is 3 plus 1? Right here. That's 4. And we don't add the denominators together. The denominator just stays 5. Do you need me to show you why that happens?
Yes, please.
Okay. So basically, if I had a square, say I had a chocolate bar and it had 5 pieces, and you had a chocolate bar and it had 5 pieces. And I said, here, Lila, I'm going to give you 3/5 of my chocolate bar. And then you said, thank you. And I'm going to give you 1/5 of my chocolate bar. Can't I put this right here? Would it fit there? I have room, right? I still have 2 bars that I can use. So do I need this whole other piece, or can I squish that right into here? So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking this right here and I'm putting it here. So we're getting rid of this bar and we're making it be 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces out of 5. So that's why we don't add these together, because we can fit this into our model right here. Kind of makes sense?
Kind of.
Okay, let's do another one. So if I had 1/3 plus 1/3, can't I take this and fit it in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1/3 plus 1/3, we don't need this whole other circle. We could fit that in here and make it 2/3. Does that make sense? Now we don't need this because it fits into here. Okay, same thing with subtracting. So if we have 3/5 minus 1/5, we just subtract the numerators. 3 minus 1 is 2. and our denominator stays the same. Does all of that make sense to you so far?
Yeah.